So, you've been eyeballing a good pocket gun to carry around, and we're thinking the very famous and well spread LCP. And then Ruger did this, came out with the LCP II. Do you go for the first one, the original, or do you buy the two? What's the difference between them? If the LCP II is so much improved, why does the LCP still exist? And vice versa? That's what I'm looking to answer for you. So first off, just look at the cosmetics of the two, side by side. They're both itty bitty guns. If you can tell by the size of them compared to my hands, both single stack, 6 round, 380. They do come with a finger rest. I have the flush fit on here for some other testing that I was doing. But setting them side by side, you can see there's not a whole lot of size difference. You do see that the original LCP was designed from the get-go to be a pocket gun, something you could bury and forget about or have deep concealed very easily, yank out and mash in an oh shit situation. The LCP II, a little more angular design. We've got some aesthetic improvements as well as some function changes to it. However, I think they both still have a role. Looking at them from the front, we can see the original is slimmer by a wee bit. We also have a little bit of grip here on the front of the trigger guard, which is squared versus the original is more rounded. We also have different stippling here instead of just the lines to make it a little more tacky. It grips a little better. On the sides, controls are in the same places roughly. However, the slide stop / release on the LCP II is longer and slimmer than the original, and it also protrudes a wee bit more from the gun. So it's a little easier to get to, also makes it a little more snag prone. So the original LCP still wins on tuckability. They both have a channel for your thumb and trigger finger on the other side, or for left-handed. They're both still only controlled on the left side of the gun. However, the stock on the LCP II is most certainly thicker. You can see that there. What that's going to do is help distribute recoil across a larger surface area and will likely be more comfortable to shoot. However, it also makes it more difficult to conceal. Looking up top, we can see that the sight radius on the LCP II is effectively a little bit longer by having the sights more towards the rear of the gun. These are both the same length, but from front sight to rear sight, you've got a little more space on the LCP II. That'll make it a little easier to aim. The sights on the LCP II are much more pronounced. They're more of a serious dedicated sight that would, in some cases, increase your chance of snagging. However, these are still very low profile. So on that, the LCP II is obviously going to be easier to aim. Overall, I'd say they each have their place still. The original LCP is still your slip it in a pocket gun. The LCP II, however, I think is going to be a little more friendly on the range. And one of the biggest differences why I think that is in the trigger. So when it comes to trigger, the original LCP is somewhat infamous. We'll show clear. We squeeze. You have a little bit of slack and then immediate hard double action type heavy pull. Reset. You get a first click, but no movement. That's not your reset. Comes all the way out here, and then it's still a heavy pull. It's pretty much the same trigger. That, I think, is beneficial for a panic mash type situation, which is what an itty bitty gun like this is intended for. It's not a range gun. The LCP II, we have the safety doohickey that was made famous by Glocks and designs like it. So clear. We squeeze. There is no resistance. A wall. And then it breaks. Very nice, crisp break. I wouldn't say rod breaking crispness or anything like that. There's a little bit of squeeze through, However, it is crisp and definitive. The reset, long to a click, and then it breaks there. So this is a little friendlier for range use for training than the original LCP trigger, which a lot of folks complained about. Some of those complaints I think are valid. Others are just folks not understanding that this is not your bullseye gun. It's not intended for that at all. So with the LCP II, the trigger is a little more of a compromise. This is a trigger that is going to be more similar to your regular range gun. So you're not having to learn two systems. That's an advantage to the LCP II. If you're either a brand new shooter or a very well experienced shooter, then this LCP trigger isn't going to matter for you. So why are there two? Well, because really they are two different guns. I think in calling this the LCP II, Ruger was smart to point out that it's not the same thing as the original LCP. Yes, it's still a lightweight compact pistol, or as I like to say, LBCP, little bitty compact pistol. But they fill slightly different roles and are appropriate for slightly different people. So this really isn't just a line extension or a rehash of the LCP. It's actually a different gun. Though internally it looks very similar, the size is roughly the same. I could see a use for each of these independently, though they definitely are exchangeable. I hope that answered some questions. If you want to know numbers, barrel length, size, weight, trigger pull, all that kind of stuff, check out Ruger's website. There's no point in me giving you all that data when it's already there. We'll have reviews and shooting impressions on each of these up on the channel soon, so like, subscribe, and stay tuned for those follow-ups. Please give me your thoughts down below in the comments. And any discussion, head on over to the GBGuns Facebook page. Thanks for watching.